Hello, my name is Gavin,
My name is Youssef.
and in this presentation, we will be sharing Things Fall Apart context. We will include the history of Nigeria, the importance of the book, a biography on the author, and um, we will talk about the Igbos culture. First, the history of Nigeria. It, it started out in 1807 before uh, British had come to Nigeria when they outlawed slave trade within their empire as their empire was growing. Then in 1861, they came to Nigeria for supplies and because they wanted more power. And they started by occupying Lagos, or their capital city. Then in 1884, after slowly colonizing Nigeria, they claimed Nigeria as their own and had occupied almost all of Nigeria. Throughout, um, about 20 years later, a British man was riding on a bicycle into a village, and in retaliation to that man being killed in that village, the British came and destroyed the whole village, killing most of its occupants. About 10 years later, the British instituted the Collective Punishment Ordinance, which said that if one person commit a crime in a village, the whole village could be punished. Then, after years of struggling, Nigeria finally gained independence because the British had left. After that time, though, because Nigeria had no rulers, there was a series of military coups from 1970 to the early 1990s, and which caused much war in the country, and the country was very corrupt.
All right, and I'm going to be talking about why the book Things Fall Apart is important. Well, first of all, in Things Fall Apart, Ashebe illustrates a lot of hybridization and mimicry in the book, and he talks about how they are more advanced and live in a complex society than what Western people think, and he shows how inaccurate the white colonial writers are about African culture. Um, he presents hybridization in many ways, such as, well, the book is written in English, which is the British's first language, not Nigeria's, and his birth name was actually Albert, which is a British name. The book was named after a poem made by a British author, and in that poem, the author describes an apocalyptic vision of the world, and it was descending into disaster, which Ashebe used to foreshadow Nigeria's disaster and chaos. And the book also showcased how Igbo land and the Igbo people were forced to transition to British society. For example, in the book, there was a reverend called Reverend Smith, and he forced many Nigerians to become Christian instead of their ethnic religion. Yep. Yep. And so now I'm going to talk about Igbo religion. The main religion in Igbo land is called Odinala, and so their main god, his name is Chukwu, I believe, and they believe he's the creator of all things, but they have many other gods that look over other things. They believe that their ancestors protect them, and that their ancestors protect all the descendants of theirs, and they believe in spirits, and those spirits occupy the three dimensions of what they believe is the sky and land, which is the earth, and the ancestral world, the spiritual world, basically. And then during the festivals, the spirits are guests in the guise of masquerades, So they wear masquerades and they're the spirits. And another thing is sacrifices are very important in the Igbo religion, and many Igbo people give loads of sacrifices to the spirits and the gods. Lastly, they also believe that there are evil spirits that live in the human world and in the spirit world.
Igbo social structure. There are five levels of titles in Igbo culture. There's the men with one title, men with two titles, and all the way up to men with four titles. And then there's the oracle on the topmost level. These titles are gained with by buying them. Each level becomes more expensive. So if you are born in a not so wealthy family, for example, it may be more difficult to gain titles. As title increases, so does respect and recognition. So for example, the oracle will probably be one of the most popular people in that and respected people in that village. And this is an example of an oracle. Under those five titles are men who lack titles, which are usually poor men. And then under those are women and children who are not valued whatsoever in this society.
Nigeria's official languages include Igbo and Hausa. It is spoken in the Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, and Enugu and Imo in the southern delta, as well as the northeast of the delta and the southeast of the river states. Igbo is the primary trade and business language of the states Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo. In the southern delta region, it is employed in mainstream media such as radios and television. The Igbo language is expected to die out in the next 50 years due to hybridization, as English has surpassed most languages. Chinua Achebe was Africa's most famous writer and the founding father of African literature. His first story, Things Fall Apart, was published in 1958 and was set in the late 19th century, challenging traditional ideologies about the novel's form and function. He claimed that being a Christian encouraged him to see the world more clearly, which he then focused into his writing. As a result, Achebe was transferred to the prominent colonial government institution in وهي when he was only 14 years old. He obtained a scholarship to study medicine at what would later become the University of Ibadan in 1948, but he later changed his major to English literature, religious studies, and history. Achibe came to be a vocal supporter of Biafra's independence and was appointed as a visiting lecturer at the University of Massachusetts in 1972, where he taught African literature. He also mocked writers and commentators who he thought patronizing or racist in their attitude towards Africans. In 1976, Achibe returned to Nigeria as a professor of literature at the University of Nigeria, where he remained for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, a car accident also left him paralyzed in 1990, but he continued his lectures. Chunawa was born on November 16th and passed away on March 21st, 2013.